Hey everyone, what's going on? It is Sammy. So many of you probably don't actually know me because I've been off of TikTok for a while now and randomly started getting some engagement even though I wasn't really posting. So I decided to jump back on here and start using TikTok again. So here I am. Anyway, I am Sammy. I'm a shadow alchemy guide. I help people that know what to do. They know how they want to show up in life. They've done the work, read the books, started healing, gone to therapy, and they know the mindset stuff, but they're still reacting in ways they don't want to, self-sabotaging, not showing up as their best selves, living their best lives. So, yeah, that's what I do. But anyway, what I wanted to get on here and talk about today is what if the things that your mind keeps convincing you of isn't actually the full truth at all? What if some of the things you've been taking personally aren't actually about your worth at all? What if the reason you keep reacting the way that you do isn't because you're broken, but it's because you learned survival before you ever learned safety? I think a lot of people are walking around believing thoughts and emotional stories that feel true simply because they've repeated them long enough. And tonight, I kind of want to challenge some of those stories. Not with fake positivity, not with just think positive. That's not what this is. That's not what I'm about. I'm very about feeling the emotions, and when we need to be sad or angry or feel it, to just feel that, because that's very important. If we don't feel those things, they get trapped and they show up later in our life. What I'm talking about is real reframes, the kind that actually shifts how you see yourself, how you see your relationships and what you deserve in relationships, your reactions, your actual life. So tonight, I love this to be interactive for any of you that are watching and interested in this. So if you want help reframing something that is going on in your life, drop a fear or a thought or a situation or something you're going through that your mind has been telling you lately, or whatever, that you kind of need a reframe on. And let's explore a different perspective that you could be looking at this from. So I really like to do reframes because I used to have a very chaotic life. My life was crazy. I would spiral out of control over the smallest things. There was always something happening. I was always waiting for the next shoe to drop. And I would spiral out of control when something happened and freak out and not be able to make a move or really take action for days because I was freaking out over the situation that was happening. And now my life's not like that at all anymore because, well, for one, I can usually see challenges and situations with gratitude now because of the way my mind works and the way I believe in everything now. But even when it does start to get me to a more negative place or get challenging for me or start to stress me out, I'm able to turn it and flip it around completely. You see, you can take something like losing your job as something that is completely horrible. Oh my God, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. I lost my job. I don't know how I'm gonna pay my bills. I don't know what I'm gonna do. My partner's gonna be mad at me. All of these things. Or you can see it as an opportunity. Okay, now that I lost this job that I didn't really like anyway, that I wasn't being paid what I'm worth, that I wasn't being appreciated at because there's so many jobs like that out there. Now I can find something more aligned. Now I can find something that makes me happy, where I'm able to be passionate about something, where I'm able to be appreciated, make more money. Same thing with a relationship ending. You can choose to see that as completely horrible and sad, or you can choose to look at it completely different. You can choose to be grateful that you're no longer with someone that's not your forever person. That because if they're not your forever person, then they're like taking up the space for you to be available for your forever person. Not only that, if you love this person so much that it hurts this bad, that you're this sad about it, the relationship was so incredibly amazing, imagine how much more the right person's going to be. Because obviously, if it didn't work out, they're not the right person. Or in the long run, you will work out. You get to choose how you're going to see these things in your life. And how you approach them makes a big difference in how you experience life. You get to decide which way you're going to look at it. If you're going to see it as some bad thing that is happening to you, or if you're going to use it as something to help you grow, to help move you towards a life that you're excited to wake up to, that's aligned with you and everything you want and everything you deserve. We've got to get rid of the old things to make room for the new. Sometimes that's really uncomfortable. Sometimes it really fucking sucks. But when we finally get that new thing, it's amazing. It's incredible. But here's the thing that a lot of people don't talk about too, is we want these things. We want this growth. We want this different lifestyle. We want more money. All of these great things. We want a better relationship. But do you actually have the capacity to hold that where you're at right now? Because that is another big thing. Do you have the mindset to hold the money? Or when you get all that money, is it just going to go away? Because you're not actually at a capacity where you feel safe enough to hold all of that. So that's another way to even reframe things, is that you still need to build the capacity to actually hold the things that you're wanting to hold. And then some other really common things that we make mean so much about our self-worth and about us that I want to go through real quick and help you kind of look at differently is, what if them needing space doesn't automatically mean rejection? What if them needing space is actually their own bullshit and their own problems, their own trauma, and they're shutting down? Or maybe they're just the type of person that needs space to replenish their energy. I'm definitely that way. I can't be around people 24/7. I love my community. I love to get with people and have community and spend time with people and be around them. And I have an amazing time when I am. But at the same time, I absolutely need my space. That doesn't mean I'm rejecting anyone. It just means that I need space too. Another thing is, what if anger isn't actually anger? What if it's grief that never had anywhere to go? And thank you all for the gifts. I'm like so bad at actually paying attention to what the words say. So I get like so excited about the things I'm talking about. But yeah. Sometimes it's not anger. Anger is really like a secondary emotion a lot of times. Because a lot of times anger is actually fear. Or it's loss or grief. And we don't want to actually feel those things. We don't want to feel pain. And it's easier to get angry. And also we can use that anger to really propel us forward. Think about all the big things that have happened in the world because of anger. Another thing that we need to learn to reframe is, what if constantly over-explaining yourself is actually your nervous system trying to prevent abandonment? So many of us don't have boundaries. Or if we do have boundaries or an idea of what our boundaries would like to be, we haven't communicated them clearly, or we don't know how to hold them. Oh, yeah. Thank you. So, yeah. Sometimes when we're over explaining, it's really our nervous system being like, no, I want to keep giving you reasons why this isn't okay, because you actually have a boundary around this. You actually need more safety around this and all of that kind of stuff. So, another thing is, what if shutting down isn't actually laziness at all, but it's exhaustion from constantly being emotionally on guard all the time, from constantly hustling and pushing harder? Because that's what society tells us to do, especially when you're not at the level in life that you want to be. Just keep going. So what if when you're shutting down, when you're not motivated, when you're being lazy, it's not actually laziness at all? You're just exhausted and overwhelmed. And now your nervous system is like, nope, I can't do anything. What if the reason that you can't just let it go is because your body still thinks it needs protection? What a lot of people don't get about survival responses and the patterns that repeat all the time in their lives is that we're not just responding to that or reacting to that moment that we're experiencing. Our system is remembering a trauma that we experienced, something that we went through in a life, a story that has been reinforced over and over again by comments or situations that have happened. So then our body thinks that we actually still need protection from these things. And then that's why we repeat the same patterns. That's why we self-sabotage. That's why we react. That's why we don't show up in the ways we want to when we actually get pressured and things actually feel hard. Because your body doesn't feel safe. And when there's not safety, awareness goes away. You don't have control anymore. You slip into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. A lot of people are trying to mindset their way out of survival patterns. Just think positive and ignore it. But when your body has learned danger, logic doesn't automatically make the reactions disappear. You can know all of the things and still not show up the way you want to. You ever notice how some people can ignore like 10 messages from everybody else, but one certain person doesn't reply and suddenly their entire mood shifts? That's not random at all. They let it mean something. You know how you can know that, and I don't like using the word overreacting, but I'm going to use it right here, while still feeling completely taken over emotionally in the moment. Like, this was a big thing for me before I started healing, is my big thing was anger. I'd get angry a lot of times and then explode. And I would be like exploding and saying crazy shit and being crazy. And like the whole time in my head, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Just calm down. Just stop. But I still couldn't do it because I didn't feel safe. And everything else had taken over. The disconnect really creates so much shame for people. Because they think, if I'm self-aware, why can't I stop? But awareness and capacity aren't the same thing at all. We have to actually build the capacity to be able to respond in ways we want to and not just react to what's happening. To not just keep repeating the patterns, keep self-sabotaging. So, yeah. This is why I'm really like so passionate about nervous system work and shadow work, because most people don't really have a lack of information problem. There's so much information out there. You can Google anything. You can go use AI. Like, AI can be your therapist. There is so much information out there. People already know what to do. They're already aware of their patterns and what's going on. The issue is that it takes over in the moments, because that's the survival. That's you not feeling safe. We can know all the things, but if we still haven't built safety and started building the capacity, we're not going to be able to actually show up how we want to. So I think one of the most powerful things that we can do is really start to question the stories that we automatically believe. Not every thought is true. Not every emotional reaction is your identity. And not every trigger is a weakness. Your triggers are actually guides if you let them be. Triggers don't have to be a negative thing. Instead of just getting angry or just getting upset or whatever the emotion may be, ask why. Dig deeper and get underneath that and really see what's going on there. Sometimes your patterns are really just trying to protect a version of you that never felt safe. Many of us learn survival before we ever learn safety. And that really sucks, but it's the truth. And if you've never felt safe, never had a regulated nervous system, how do you expect to just change that overnight? To just change that by thinking? Trauma lives in the body. If this kind of conversation resonates with you, that's a lot of the work that I talk about here. I go deep into emotional patterns, survival mode, nervous system reactions, self-trust, all of that kind of stuff. So if this at home today, make sure that you follow me or send me a message, because I plan on being on TikTok a lot now since I'm getting more attention over here. And yeah, if you want to follow me in other places, I have a lot more content in other places. I'm just getting back on TikTok. So my link tree is in my bio. You can find that there. If you want to connect one-on-one and work with me more directly, you can find out information. Right now, I've got a really special deal going for founding members, because I am about to be done creating a new course that I'm launching. The first 5 people are going to get it for $50. So if you're interested in going deeper and really starting to heal on a level that builds capacity and self-trust, and it'll help you be able to show up the ways that you want to in life, go check out my bio. A lot of my videos on my TikTok are old, so see how old they are before you really pay attention to what I'm saying. I mean, you can definitely still pay attention because it's all good stuff, but the work I'm doing is kind of reframed and changed a little bit than some of my older content. But yeah, that is all for tonight. Thank you all so much for joining me. Much love to you all. I'll probably be on here tomorrow. I'll see you later.